Hi, good day everyone. Today it's Saturday and we're just gonna have a lovely pizza afternoon today. So early in the morning, it's important that you just make your dough early in the morning so that you can give it a nice proving for the day. So all that we need is our ingredients over here. We're gonna make it a very simple one. What we're gonna have nice room temperature water, not lukewarm water, because we want to have all the flavors. Then we're just gonna have a bit of flour here for dusting. A kilogram of Farina double O flour. It's important that we have Farina double O flour because that's going to give you a lively texture to your pizza. At the same time, we have a little bit of yeast here. Now I'm going to use wet yeast. Now wet yeast, it's potent in flavor, and you can also use dry yeast. For this recipe, you can use a packet of dry yeast, or in this instance, I'm going to use about 10 to 13 grams of fresh yeast. Then I'm going to use 15 grams of sea salt, a very good sea salt for flavor, and then we're just going to have a tablespoon of honey for flavor. At this point, we're just going to add the water to our mixing bowl, and then to that, remember now we just want to make sure that we incorporate our yeast into it. So what we're going to do at this stage, we're just going to take our yeast, take our yeast, put it into the water and use our fingers to make sure that we dissolve it nice and easy. And it's important, please don't add any salt at this given stage, because the salt will basically kill your specific fermentation process. So it's important, just dissolve the yeast, and then to that we're just gonna take about a handful or so of flour just for us to make a buffer. And then once our buffer is nicely mixed in, we're just gonna let it basically stand and cool for about 30 minutes. So now I've mixed it through, and before we let it stand over for 30 minutes, we make sure that we add our honey. Now our honey is important because it's gonna waken up the yeast in our mixture, and it's gonna give it the opportunity to rise properly. So let us allow it to prove now for 30 minutes. Wow, just look at those nice airy bubbles. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add our flour to this whole process, and then we're going to make sure that we mix it and incorporate it properly. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our flour and just add it in gradually, and then I'm going to use the back of a wooden spoon just to make sure that we mix it through until we basically mix all the flour into it. At this point, we would want to use our hands now, because your hands is basically going to make you feel the texture of the dough, and then it's going to assist also in making sure that you would determine whether you need more flour or not. At this point, when we get all of the dough basically in a nice ball and moved away from the sides, it's important for us now to get a clear surface that we're going to dust with some flour, and this will give us now a nice platform for us now to basically knead our dough. Wow, 20 minutes, and what a workout. I mean, if I have to make dough like this every day, I'll have big arms like Bino and Jackson from Porch. At this stage, we're done with our dough now, so we're just going to roll it into a ball, and then we're going to use the same container that we basically used earlier before. We're just going to add some olive oil to it, and just take our brush and just spread the olive oil evenly. What this is going to do is going to assist us, so once the dough has its rise, it's not going to stick on the sides of the bowl. So all we're going to do just going to take our little bowl and just place it in the center, and we just want to use the extra oil and just put it on the top as well. Then we're going to use a damp cloth, cover it, and let it rise for about 2 hours. It's been 2 hours, and now we have to basically see what happened down here. We remove the damp cloth and way more than double in size. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to take a bit of flour our surface, and then from here onwards we're just going to turn our bowl, and voila. So now we just have to basically break them down into balls and divide them into balls of about 250 grams per ball. So all you want to do now is just form it into the bowl and pull the sides and push it slightly towards the bottom, and you would see right at the bottom we'll just basically will have to close it properly, because you would want the balls basically to form a nice texture as well. So there we have it. We're just going to break the rest of them down, and then afterwards we're just going to put it into a container and let it basically sit for about 4 hours. There we go, nicely formed balls. Now we're just going to leave it to brew for another 4 to 6 hours, and even up to 12 hours or overnight for a yummy pizza. Hi everyone, so 4 hours later, and here's your product. So now what we're going to do with this quickly, I just took a splashlet and I sprinkled it with a bit of semolina, coarse semolina, or you can put flour just to make sure that it doesn't. So now we're going to take out one of these ones, so I'm going to sprinkle with a bit of flour, and I'm just going to make sure that they don't stick, because then they're going to deflate too quick. So at this stage I'm just going to separate them there. Just make sure that there's enough flour on the sides as well, so that we can still maintain that bubble inside. And on this side as well. And at this specific stage we're just going to take it out. And on this side I just have a split. I'm just going to place it on here where we're going to have a split lid. So I'm just going to take it out gently with my hands and just make sure that we don't deflate it too much. So I've just sprinkled with a bit of semolina. So we're going to have semolina at the bottom, and I'm just going to put a bit of flour as well, so that we just make sure that it doesn't stick. So I turn it upside down, and then I'm going to put another bit of flour on this side here, and this is now where we're going to form our pizza. So it's important, we're not going to use a rolling pin, guys. Just use your hands. We're just going to keep it in a shape like that, and remember we would want to have a crispy edge. So we first want to separate the edge. The crust must be nice and thick and juicy, and then we're going to work with our fingers in this shape. We're just going to work it from the inside out.